I don't know what it is about these things, but I literally can just not get them. I just don't get it.
I think this packet, I just got it off the internet. I think it's very helpful in reviewing all the trig functions and the graphs. Hopefully you'll find it to be pretty easy actually with that. But I'm guessing you graphed the, well no, I think you did graph some in radians,
We did.
didn't you? Yeah. We're gonna graph all in radians. So, I kind of just want to read through this with you guys. The first two, the sine and the cosine, are on the front. So it gives you the general shape. The sine, the range of the sine is from -1 to 1, and then it shows you one period of the sine. So one period goes from 0 up to 1, down to -1, and then back to 0, and one period is 2 pi. And if you think about the unit circle, like the sine of 0 is 0, the sine of pi is 0, and the sine of 2 pi is 0, and then the sine of pi over 2 is 1. Those are the corresponding values that we see on the unit circle, and just like we talked about, after we go around once, and come back to 2 pi, then it does the same thing. So it does the same thing over and over, which is why we call them periodic functions, right? Okay. And then the cosine is kind of the opposite of that. It starts at 1 and then goes down to -1 and back up to 1. But one period for the cosine is also 2 pi. And the range is also from -1 to 1 on the y's. Okay, so if we don't have just the basic sine or cosine, we're going to calculate the period, and we're going to calculate the amplitude. So, what is amplitude?
Like the height from the axis to the peak?
Right, the height from the x-axis to either the maximum point or the minimum point is the amplitude. It will be the same for both. So like on the basic functions, it's just 1. It goes up to 1 and down to -1. So the amplitude of the sine and the cosine is 1. But if we have a more complicated one, the amplitude is going to be A, which if you look at number 2, where it says general graphs, the functions will be either of the form y equals a sine of bx or a cosine of bx. So the A is whatever number is in front of the function, and that will tell you what the amplitude is. Or more technically, the absolute value of that number, because it could be, it's going to go up to the positive and down to the negative. Skylar? Making face.
I just remember how much trouble I had last year.
Well, let's just erase our memory of all the bad feelings in the past and start fresh.
I don't even know what you're trying to show me, Olivia.
I don't know. There's buttons on here. Hopefully it's still recording.
And the period.
Just remember how much we did with them like this. What's the number?
You got it until we started doing shifts. You were fine until we started shifting, right? Oh, okay.
I think the periods is what got me.
The period is going to be 2 pi divided by b. If you look at those basic functions, b is going to be if there's a number right in front of the x, or right in front on your worksheet, I think it's a theta. But if there's a number directly in front of the variable, that's the b, and to find the period we take 2 pi and divide by that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, then we have an example. So, for A, and I'll kind of write it down, or if you wanna just keep looking at your, paper, whatever's gonna help you to learn it best. We're basically gonna do what's on your paper, but I'll just do it one step at a time. So, we have y equals 3 times the sine of x over 2. And they're saying that if we want to just have a number, so it looks like that general form where we have a sine of b
We can't
bx.
see.
Oh, thank you. That's have to remind me. Alright. What do you mean? You can't, can you still not see it?
It's in black now.
I'm gonna have to turn it off. I'll just write on the board. Okay.
I think you're
Okay,
pretty much
so the general form is a sine of bx, right? And the amplitude is a, and the period is 2 pi divided by b. So we have, in this case, y equals 3 times the sine of x over 2. If we wanted to look more like this, we can rewrite that as 3 sine of 1/2 x. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the amplitude is what?
3.
3. And the period is going to be 2 pi divided by
1 over
1/2, or in other words,
2. 4.
2 pi times 2, which is going to be
You're so weird.
4 pi, right? So, on the graph, start at 0, and it's going to go to 4 pi. And the general shape of the sine starts at 0, goes up, goes back to 0, goes down, and then it goes back up. So we'll have a point at 0, we'll have a point halfway through our period, which is going to be at 2 pi, and we'll have a point at 4 pi. And then it's going to go up and down and back up. How far is it going to go up?
3.
Right. That's our amplitude, so it's going to go up to 3, and it's also going to go down to -3, and that's going to be halfway between here and here, which would be at pi and 3 pi. So at pi it's going to go up to 3, at 3 pi it's going to go down to -3, so that will look like this.
I think what I had issues with was, like, I get if I do it that way, like if I start with the equation and then have to make the graph, it's just when they give you the graph and I have to make the equation.
We're not doing any of this today.
Cause
But it is
then I got
good to be
confused.
able to do both. Like looking at the graph, you can see the amplitude is going to be 3. All you really need to do is see the amplitude in the period, and then you could write the general.
I think I got confused on the period when they got to
When it
like,
wasn't at 0, when they shifted the like.
Oh yeah, when they
when it
shifted
shifted up,
it
then
like
Yeah,
one way
that's
or the
that's
other.
in
That
this
gets
packet too further on.
That's when I think we got lost.
that just gets confusing.
Or maybe it's not.
Let's just stick
This
with
stuff
that
makes
for now.
sense.
What?
This stuff makes sense.
Okay. So the second example is a cosine. So if you have, again, it's the same basic. What? That's supposed to be a new marker. Alright, so 1/2 cosine of 2x. So the amplitude is 1/2, and the period is
2x Divided by. Oh, 2 pi
2 pi
divided by
divided by
2
2, which is going to be
pi.
pi. Okay, so marker issues. All right, so with the cosine, we start at generally 1, or we're going to start at whatever the amplitude is. So in this case, we'll start at
0.5.
0.5 or 1/2. And then we will end also at 1/2. And we will go down to negative 1/2. I feel like, oh, okay. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So this will go down to negative 1/2 and we'll go right. They show you on their graph, they show you the solid line is the general function and then the dotted line is the one that we're graphing. Okay? And if you have a negative, is what you do in example C, which is back to sine. So the amplitude is what?
-1.
What?
A 1.
Negative 1 or just 1, right? Because we say the amplitude is like the absolute value of it because it's going to go up and it's also going to go down to that number. And what is the period?
Oh, just gonna 2/3.
2 pi divided by 3, right? And that can't be simplified, so that would be it. So, but we do need to consider that this is negative, which means it's going to be a reflection about the x-axis. So instead of normally when it goes up and then down, this one's going to go down and then up. So we have 2 pi over 3. What would half of 2 pi over 3 be? Anyone? What's half of 2 pi over 3?
4/3. 2 6. 1/3.
It's pi over 3, right?
Oh boy. I
What's
promise
half
I'm
of pi over 3?
5 or 6.